So my name is Peter, I'm 59 years old. I have two kids, 18 and 19 years old, that I love dearly. I am a musician. I've been playing music since I was 15 years old or something. And I also am a bus driver. I make my living driving the bus. And I think what's special about me is the fullness of my life and the fact that I was able to live through a prison in South America and make the shift from being dependent on alcohol and cocaine to living a sober life and being very conscious in life.
What are the key important moments that define your life?
There's one moment in my life that was very life-changing for me. That was when I was in jail, and I realized while being in jail, I realized that my father did love me, and that was life-changing for me. And also, I was lying on the concrete floor in jail for the years in Venezuela and South America, which was horrific. And I realized I'm okay for the first time, and I'm tearing up. I can feel it again, so I'm not going to start crying, but I feel that I'm tearing up because I realized for the first time that my moral compass was okay. Yeah, that was life-changing for me. Yeah. And then being a free man again, and realizing that having choice and freedom is something that we tend to take for granted. So that's been with me ever since, that I can choose. I have the freedom to change my mind, and I don't. If I said yesterday I like yellow, it may be different today, and today I like brown. That's not something that that defines me. Becoming a father was life-changing. Somehow, all of a sudden, there was something that was more important than me, and also made me realize how my parents must have felt. Yeah, it sounds a bit pathetic, but like this morning and almost every day now that I wake up and I'm witnessing love. I'm so grateful to be able to feel and to not take it for granted, to be honestly grateful and humbling, have the humbling thought of gratefulness is something that I cherish really very much.
You mentioned a lot about this word, gratefulness, and I feel that there's something in it. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I think, when we say we're grateful about what we own or what we experience or things that we have, it also requires that we are conscious about these things. So how do you see that?
Yeah, I agree. I agree very much. Yes, and I think that becoming conscious is one of the meanings of life. So I grew up learning that what I feel and what I think doesn't matter, and losing my feeling, what I felt, and the intuition, putting that aside as not being relevant. That was what I was taught. Yeah. But that was like a balloon, when you have a balloon and you press on this side and on the other side, somewhere it has to go. So as much as I tried to put that away, it still remained there. Latently, it was there, but it was there. And then, like a friend of mine said once, and I really like that, I put myself in prison in order to be able to free myself. So I put myself in prison, and there was nothing there but me. Being in shackles and not being able to, only having me to answer to. And then that was when my life started to take a different path. So maybe the first glimpse of consciousness was when I woke up in jail, realizing my father does love me, or wait a minute, my moral compass is okay, even though I did a lot of shit. I'm okay, and I was able to get to the point where I am now. And along with that, path came a steadily that the consciousness just became bigger and bigger and bigger. But like this morning, we went out shopping, and I look around, and I'm as I mentioned, or as I will mention later, I earn my money now, my living. I pay the rent, driving the bus, and so I see so many people. And in the old days, I used to look with my eyes, and now I look with my heart. Now I look with my intuition, and I see people, and I feel people, and I love. I can sense. I feel love for nearly everybody that I see, and being able to look at it that way, I can really see people. That is totally different than the way it used to be. Now when I see somebody being angry or being happy for that matter, I see the happiness, I see the anger, and I don't identify the anger with that person.
I'm really touched by what you said about this. You said that you are not seeing things or looking at people with your eyes, but with the heart. And that actually, something to me, it sounds like it makes things actually clearer.
Yes.
It has some clarity in life that you really see. You see the essence of the things that you see for the people, nature. So I think that's really beautiful that you said that. Another thing that also really caught my attention was that beautiful saying that you said, by the way. You said you put yourself in a prison in order to be free.
To free myself. Yeah.
Yes, that is such a beautiful saying. You should make a quote and hang on the wall. I have been also, thinking to myself as well, because I also experienced quite a lot of pain and struggles, but after going through all this experience, I also agree with you that you gain some kind of clarity, some kind of gratefulness or understanding of life. And do you feel that the same way that going through the struggles, pains, are an important part of our life experience? And how do we actually should see them? How do we treat them? What kind of attitude should we give them to these struggles and pain?
Pain is a part of life, like it's just like any other part of life. It's a part of life. Without pain, that's the dualism that we live in. You cannot have one without the other. And we live in a society that is more and more teaching us that yes, no need to have pain. So mental pain, heartbreak, physical pain, it's been treated like it shouldn't be there, and I don't believe that is true. And I also learned, and it's become something that I try to also try to tell my children. Pain and suffering are two different things. Pain can be there, just what it is. You can leave it there, what it is. It's what it is. We suffer. Suffer is something that we do. It's something that we create ourselves. When we do not want the pain to be there, then we suffer.
I feel there's such a complexity in what you just said, in the way that I kind of get the idea that I think you're right as well, that our perception of life is supposed to be happy. This perception of life is supposed to be happy, and we have a lot of movies, romantic stories about that. Life, you're supposed to be happy in many ways. But what you said just now actually recognize that pain and struggles and heartbreaks just as normal as happiness.
I want to tell two stories about it. The other two great things. My mother, who is 89 years old, the other day was sitting with me and we had a cup of coffee, and she said, people always say, oh, you need to be happy, you need to be happy, but that's bullshit. And she actually used words like that. My mother can be really like that. There's no such thing as happiness. You can have happy moments. That you can have. And I thought that was so endearing, because that's so true. That's the way it is. You can have a happy moment. I now looking at you, I'm having a happy moment, and I cherish that. And that's not gonna in half an hour. That can be totally different. That doesn't mean that this happy moment did not exist, but this happiness is not something that is always there. That cannot always be there the way it is. And I told you about my friend. He has a daughter, she's a young girl, because she's called Alana. And she one day, she asked her father, like, why do we cry? And he said, and I think it's brilliant. Well, sometimes you laugh, and sometimes you're hungry, and sometimes you need to go to the toilet, and sometimes you cry.
That's beautiful.
That's beautiful. It's okay to cry. Just like any other thing in life that is normal, it's okay to cry.
I also particularly like
real suffering, happens when you judge the fact that you are crying. That's when suffering comes in. When you cry, you're in pain or something else. But you turn it into suffering by judging the fact that we are in pain. By judging that and by not wanting it to be there, by wishing it away, that's where suffering happens.
I want to say that I love the two stories that you shared. It also sounds like a cohesion story, because the little girl asked the question, why do we cry? A wise old woman answered that happiness doesn't exist, just happy moments. So it seems like you kind of get wiser when you grow older. It's kind of metaphor.
Nice.
But also, I also hear quite clearly that message is that it's also about the struggle comes in when we are fighting against it, when we're trying to get rid of it. And that also reminds me a lot about Buddhism and also mindfulness taught us that no matter what comes, embrace it, accept it, recognize it. So I think that's a really insightful thing that you said. The question I'm curious to know is that at this age of your life, do you find, if I ask the question, what do you feel your life purpose is? How would you answer that?
I think that life purpose for me is to share and to help other souls on their path in life. I think I have something to give. And I'm really afraid that this would be interpreted as being arrogant, but I do want to help. And I'm looking at my guitars, and I think that working. One thing that I like very much is the African Ubuntu. I don't know if I meant to say it correctly, but the ideology or the way of looking at life, and it says, "I am because we are." So the magic is happening between us. It's sitting here and having, that's where the magic is. And that's why I like music so much, because music is all about doing it together. Yeah. And having this magical moment when like the French say, there's a certain je ne sais quoi. That's what makes life so beautiful.
So for people who are asking this question, how can I find my life purpose, or how can I find what I'm supposed to do with my life? What kind of answers or advice would you give?
Ask yourself and answer the question, what is it that gives me energy? And I could also say, what do you really enjoy? What do you really enjoy? Because if there's something that you really enjoy, then that's something that you want to do more. So try to investigate how and why you enjoy what you enjoy, and if that will be something that you can do more often.